Hello, my friends. It is me, Karen Valentine, and today I have a haul video for you guys. So these don't happen very often for me because usually the things that I get kind of trickle in a little bit at a time because honestly, I already have way more supplies than I really probably need. But, you know, getting new stuff is always fun, and there have been a bunch of new things that I've been wanting since breaking into the pet portrait world, so to speak. So I have some new things that I would like to show you, some for my portraits, some for just coloring, and all of them are really cool. So I thought maybe I would start with the papers since we did a paper live stream video recently. And in that one, you guys saw, let's see if I can zoom out. I feel like I'm just really zoomed in too much. In that, I showed you guys these new Arteza sketch pads that I got, and I have not used them yet, but they look very promising. It's a nice gray, and so I will be playing around with those. I think I'm going to try those on some coloring pages first and see how the colors look on the gray paper. I haven't done a gray paper before, so that will be excuse me, that will be interesting. Then the next, let's see, I'm gonna back up here. So the next new one that I got, and this was in my wish list and sent to me from a wonderful subscriber. Tao, thank you very, very much. This is Clairfontaine Pastel Mat, and it is used for doing work on with pastels, like pan pastels or pastel pencils. And it is it's a very interesting paper. This particular pad it's already kind of fallen apart, but that's okay. That's okay. It comes in different colors. So it comes in white. It comes in this sepia color. It comes in this kind of taupey brown color. It comes in, I think this is called anthracite. Yes, so white, sienna brown, and anthracite, which is a nice dark gray. Okay, so a little bit about this paper. I have seen a ton of artists use this in conjunction with colored pencil, in addition to the pastels. And they have created some stunning work. So I decided to give it a go. And I had some problems with the Stonehenge paper. If you watched the video where I talked about the different papers, I purchased some Stonehenge paper, and the pencil soaked right into the paper. Like I did the portrait, I put it away, I came back the next day, and saying all the color disappeared into the tooth of the paper is an exaggeration, but it was like, what the heck is going on here? It literally, the pencil soaked down into the tooth, and the color of the paper came up, and it looked like I had just done a really crappy job of filling in the tooth of the paper, and it's because it had all soaked in. So I thought, all right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna try a new paper. So I wanted to try the Pastel Mat, and I had the same problem with the Pastel Mat, which is very strange because it doesn't, it's a hard paper. It's hard cardstock. It didn't seem to me like that, like it would do that. but it did. And I worked through it, so it was not a disaster. But I will say that if you ever decide to venture into the art, into doing your art on this pastel mat, be aware that that can happen, because I feel like I had to do this guy twice. I colored him all in, I did the work, and then hours later I looked, and the tooth, the color of the paper, and this is the sepia tone, had just kind of shown through all over the page. So I went over it again and added more layers. This paper can take 18 million layers, so just be aware. It's really good in that respect. So I was happy the way that this turned out. I'm waiting to find out. I think I want to do a darker background. I experimented with an app to darken the background on this, and I think that she stands out better with the darker background. So I'm waiting to find out if I could darken the background on that. But anyway, that's what the pastel mat, it's really hard, and it you can use pastel pencils and color pencil on that. So I'm going to continue to play with it. I think there's a learning curve with any new paper that you try. So I'm not giving up on it. There's some wonderful colors, and I have some other stuff that I'm going to play with on it that I will show you in just a minute. Okay, so this has great possibilities. I'm quite excited about this Tone 10 mixed media from Strathmore. This is a heavy paper. This is much heavier than the Strathmore Tone 10 and much smoother. So the reason that I had been looking for another paper, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, is because when I'm doing my art, I want the option, I want a couple of different things. I want my option to be able to do larger pieces other than an 8 by 10, which is the biggest size that a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper will give me. I also want the paper to be more of an artist quality paper. The Desert Storm paper. Did I say Tone 10? I did. The Desert Storm paper, you know, is not really an art paper. And I figure if I'm doing commissions for people where they're giving me money, which is very lovely, that it needs to be a quality art paper that I'm doing their work on. So I've been on the hunt to find a paper that I liked as much as that Desert Storm, or even better, to do my portraits. And I haven't tried it yet. I was excited about the previous two papers as well, but I don't feel like this is going to soak into the paper just because of other papers similar to it that I've used before and haven't had that problem. Whew, okay, a lot of words. Okay, next cool thing that I got, and I'm going to do a flip through of this book on my channel very, very soon. This is Linda Ravenscroft's brand new Fairy and Fantasy Art, book 7. So I'm not going to, you know, do a full flip through on it right now. I will wait and do that in another video, but I'm very excited about this. This was a gift from my friend Allison. Thank you very much, Allison. I'm excited. I think we might do, in addition to a flip through, we might do a color along in this book with some of the new supplies that I have also got that I'm going to show you. Okay, what's next? So this was a wonderful gift from Tanya Spearer, sorry, for the business that I've sent her way, as far as like with her black pencils, and we did a giveaway and all that good stuff, and she sent this along as a thank you for me to try. And this is their new watercolor set. As you can see, I have not swatched them yet. that might be something that I can do on screen as well. But it comes with a water brush, 2 water brushes, and some white gouache, which is really cool, and quite a lot of colors. I'm very excited to try that. So what the heck, we might swatch those out in a little video, or maybe I'll do that on a live or something, I don't know. And then it also came with a watercolor pad, a nice little size. I love this size, and it's cool because it's a block. So it's a watercolor block, meaning that it is glued on all 4 sides. When you do watercolor, it is best to do what they call stretching. I don't know why it's called stretching, but they call it stretching the paper. And what all that means is that you take your watercolor paper and you tape it to a surface so that it is flat and adhered to a flat surface when you're doing your watercoloring, and you get less buckling that way. You do your work, you let it dry in place, and when it dries, it's been stretched and is flat and will not buckle as much. So with a watercolor block, I believe is the term that normally they call it, because it's all glued on all 4 sides, it's already stretched or in place. So you would just do your watercolor right on top of the block as it is. And then once it's dry, you'd put a little X-Acto knife in there and you would separate it from the block. So, and it's a nice little size for experimenting and playing with and stuff. So I'm excited to use that and do a little bit of playing. Okay, what's next? What's next? There's so many things. Okay, maybe not so many things, but okay. So my next haul was also a wonderful gift from Allison, and she heard me crying about hearing that the Anthraquino, I can't even pronounce it, but you guys know what pencil I'm talking about. That wonderful pink that everybody loves from the Luminance line was going to be taken out of stock, was going to be ended. And so she bought me a few replacement pencils. So I will never, ever again need to worry about not having my favorite pink in the Caran d'Ache Luminance line. Thank you, Allison. That was so thoughtful. Okay, then we have, and I think I might want to, let's see. So then we have Derwent Graphite. So I don't even remember. I got these actually several weeks ago, maybe even several months ago. I kind of lose track of time now. But long enough ago that I did go ahead and play with them a little bit and do some swatching on these. So these are tinted water-soluble graphite pencils. And they are made by the same people that do the Inktense. These are, however, not permanent ink. They're more like watercolors, but they're really not. They're actually graphite that has color in them. And so what you wind up getting with your colors is a tone that is so much more, I don't want to say desaturated, because the colors are still very beautiful, but I guess I'm going to use the word vintagey. They're kind of vintage looking. And I say that because for some reason, I get a lot of comments a lot of times from people saying, I love the vintage look of your pages. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Because vintage has been my business. I love vintage. And so I found it really interesting that people were calling the colors or the look of my pages being vintage. And I think what they mean is that I tend to not use super bright, vibrant colors. My colors tend to be a little more muted, a little more subdued, I guess. At least that's what I'm thinking for the most part. So, needless to say, I was very attracted to these colors. And so I'm thinking that we might use these in the Linda Ravenscroft book to try those out. Or maybe we'll use these in conjunction with the Inktense again, because they're both lovely. So you can, with these, you can, it's not really sharp. Let's see, do I want to sharpen this? Maybe I should sharpen this with my new pencil sharpener. Okay, so after all of the interesting information that I received about my Office World pencil sharpener, which they no longer make that particular pencil sharpener anymore. They didn't create a new site. They just took the link that I had put for that sharpener on all of my videos, and they changed the product. And as we discovered, the new product does not take the large pencils. Does not take whole beans. Shannon discovered that on her stream. So this is a wonderful, wonderful pencil sharpener made by AFMAT, and it comes in several pretty colors, and it takes all the pencils. So for example, let's see, this is the Derwent Drawing Chinese White. It's a thick pencil. It's kind of like the whole beans, or I could just pull out a whole bean since that's the one that got tore up previously. So here's a whole bean, and the cool thing about this sharpener is it has a giant hole right here, giant hole, and inside it has these little plastic guides for the pencil that as you push your pencil down into. So that's one thing. It's a little bit different, is that you have to give it a little bit of a push before it goes down in there to be sharpened, because it's gripping the pencil, and it's forming to the size that the pencil is. So this might be a little bit loud, but look at that point. Look at that point. It's awesome. And you can change the point so that you get a shorter point or a longer point. So it's all adjustable. So this is my new favorite pencil sharpener. It's pretty awesome. Yes, it is. So, because I'm not a girl that likes to have a gazillion different pencil sharpeners. I want one pencil sharpener that sharpens all my pencils exactly the way I want them to be sharpened. All right, one more loud noise. Push it down in there. Let's go. Okay. And I control how sharp I want it to be. Like if I hold it down in there, you know, like the full time, it'll sharpen it to a really sharp point. And if I pull it back before it's finished, it won't. It'll leave the point a little bit dull on the end. So anyway, so this is the Ocean Blue Derwent Graphite, and I've already done it up there, but I'm going to do one down here anyway to show you. So not only are they really pretty dry, with the colors being very, you know, muted, they're pretty wet too. So it's graphite. So unlike colored pencil, where am I going with this? Because it's not really unlike colored pencil, but you know how graphite gets that shiny, that shine to it. So do these. Okay, so there is what it looks like dry. Do I have any water in any of these water brushes? That's a big brush. And then when you wet it, it just gets more vibrant. It's really pretty. And then you can also do it the same way that I use my ink tints, where I pull the color right from the pencil. And it's a little bit lighter that way because you're not actually putting as much of the pencil down on the paper to start with. So you can get two different effects depending on how you use them. So those are awesome. I really like them. I haven't used them on a full page yet, so I definitely want to do that. But you guys know we get art supplies sometimes, and then it's like forever before we use them because some of us have problems. Okay. I'm excited to try these. Corey from Colorfully Optimistic was a sweetheart and sent these to me. And I put them in my wish list after seeing Shannon use them on her live stream. And of course, you know, we're all enablers of each other, so had to try them. And now they have two different sets. They have this set, and they also have a pastel set, which if I fall in love with these, I'm going to get that pastel set too. But they look very pretty. It's like when you get new art supplies, don't you just feel like a little kid? Oh, okay. Look at what you're doing. Don't break the plastic. The colors are so pretty. Ooh. Okay, so let me get out a piece of paper because I want to try these out. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to use a scratch piece of paper because no point in... And what is this paper anyway? This is probably my Recollections cardstock is probably what that is. Okay. I'm going to try them with my stencil brushes. I'm always attracted to the blues and aquas. Oh, I need my... Okay. Alrighty, let's see what happens. I'm excited. Okay, so this is light aqua. I have a feeling that they're going to be some, well, at least this one feels like they're really creamy. Really, really creamy. So it's very translucent, I think. It's very sheer. At least this one is. However, sometimes sheer is what you want, right? I mean, I don't always want my backgrounds to be super intense. Sometimes you just want that little bit of color. And that's what these are going to be so good for, I think. I'm just going to use the same. Yeah, I think I like them. All right, I can't resist. I gotta see what they look like on the Desert Storm. So I have a whole drawer full of scrap paper that I use for just such this purpose. Okay, well, we might as well use the same colors and compare. Part of me also wonders, like, what would happen if I use these straight on the paper and then use the brush? This has a little bit of green in it, so don't pay any attention to that. That might not be the best because you're going to get that, still get that line from where you put your color. I don't know. I'm feeling like these are going to be a really, really nice alternative to the gelatos. I'm kind of liking them. Or if not an alternative, an addition of color. Like, we all want all the colors, right? I mean, all right. So just like in color pencil, your colors are going to be a little bit more muted, especially because these are somewhat sheer on the tan paper than they are on the white paper. But I think they work great. I'm pretty happy with these. I'm going to be using those on a coloring page. Yes, yes, yes. These might also be fun to actually color an entire page with, like one of those Linda Ravenscroft ones, although I'm not sure how tiny in detail you can get. But you can use water on these. So let's just do that too real quick. So if I were to pull it right off of the tip, which you absolutely can do. Oh yeah, see, you could do both ways. You could use like the water on the end of a water brush if you were working in a teeny tiny little area, and you'd probably want to use as little water as you possibly can. So maybe even a water brush wouldn't be the right, maybe just dipping a brush. I think using as little water would be best. Yeah, these are going to be fun to play with. Thank you, Corey. I'm excited. I have more new things to play with. Okay. So that's those. I feel like a kid on Christmas Day. Okay, one thing left. So these are my new Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel Pencils. And I've not tried them yet. I just opened up the plastic last night to have a look at them because I couldn't resist. And look at all the pretty colors. So I have not used pastel pencils before. They are going to be a brand new media for me, but again, I have seen some incredible artwork done on Pastel Mat, this is just a cut off scrap of the Pastel Mat. They are used in conjunction with pan pastels. They're used by themselves. It's going to take, I have a feeling there's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me on these, but you never know. So the Pastel Mat paper feels like a 1,000 grit sandpaper. So if you've ever used like finishing that sandpaper that's like, it's usually black. What do they call it? They call it emery paper. It's so fine of a sanded paper. Like you can hear that it's got texture to it, but it's such a fine texture that even when I used colored pencils on it, it didn't feel as toothy as the Strathmore toned tan paper felt to me. So with the, so these pencils are a pastel pencil. They do not have a binder in them. They're not a wax binder. They don't have a wax binder. They don't have an oil binder. They are pastel pencils. And so they will erase. I'm pretty sure they will erase off of this. You can lift them. I don't know that they would lift, that they would erase completely because they're getting down into the tooth of the paper, but they do, you can soften them. I also think that on this paper, you can work, yes, you can work light over dark, which is really, really cool. Just so pretty. Okay, what else have we got here? Like for portraits, for the pet portraits, I'm thinking like, you know, I'll be using greens and grays, and you can get a nice fine line with them, which is really nice. I'm also wondering, because there looks to be some nice skin tones in here, so I'm curious how they would work on a human portrait. So now that I'm thinking about it, I have some pastel paper that I bought a while ago to use with my pan pastels, and I think that I didn't love it. However, it's thin, so it'll go through any printer. Let's see how the Pitt Pastel Pencils look and work on this. So you can see it's got some tooth to it. However, if I'm correct, and I'm not sure if I am or not, so don't quote me on this, we're going to try it. If I'm correct, you can take a Q-tip or a stump. So I'm just popping up out of my chair here to see if I have a Q-tip. I don't. I'm going to go grab a Q-tip. I'll be right back. Okay, you could probably use one of those blending stumps as well. Okay, so it's smoothing right out. It's smoothing right out with the Q-tip. And get my brush here. Okay, so that kind of filled in some of the tooth of the paper. And then if I were to come back, this is a darker color, obviously. Oh, I think I'm gonna have fun playing with these. Okay, so this is the lightest color, but it doesn't seem like it's really making the color below it much lighter, but I could be wrong. Let's see. yeah, you get a nice, I can achieve a nice gradient color with that. Now that is the pastel paper, and you're still going to see some tooth underneath it, but I could be wrong, but I kind of think that's the nature of pastels, is that most pastel drawings that I've seen kind of have that texture underneath them, but it's not like it's not annoying to me. I think that it would be, I think that would be okay. I'm just going to pull out a few greens just to see here. Okay, so if I start with this dark one. So they say that these are not meant to, that they don't, because the lead is not bound by anything, it's kind of crumbly. And so they recommend that you sharpen these with a knife. I'm going to tell you that me and knives are a dangerous combination. I always seem to cut myself. I'm just a big klutz. So, I'm going to just try an experiment and see how my new pencil sharpener does with them. I know they're kind of a pricey pencil to experiment with, but I'm curious, and I'm just trying to see if I can get a nice gradient of color in using these. And let's see, you want to blend from light to dark, probably. So yeah, they blend real nice. I have to say that for people who maybe have a hard time with, you know, like maybe you've got arthritis or a hard time, you know, really holding a pencil and getting in there, this might be an excellent option for people who have some mobility issues with their hands, because it takes almost nothing at all to get the pastel down on the paper, and then when you blend, you're just blending with a Q-tip. So gosh, I'm thinking that this could be like the next best thing for anybody that's got hand problems. That's just, I'm really impressed with these. So you know how when you spend a lot of money on a new product and then it doesn't wow you, it's really depressing. I am really excited about these. I wonder how they would work on something less toothy. I don't think that they would work at all on like any really smooth cardstock. I really just don't think that those would be a good fit at all. Like that Recollections cardstock, I just think that would be completely terrible because there's no, well, see, now I might have to bite my tongue. There's no tooth to hold these, but gosh, yeah, see, when I brush, it took off half the color right there, just from brushing. I didn't even blend or anything. So yeah, it goes down, but watch it just brushes right away. So yeah, probably the really smooth cardstock is not the best. But this is the Spring Hill Digital, which has a little bit more tooth. So let's see how that does. Although I gotta say, this pastel paper was really nice. All right, so if I smooth, let's see, let's do the same thing we did. They're definitely messier than colored pencil. You're definitely going to have this powdery residue Did we have as much powdery residue on here? You still have some, but maybe not quite as much. But I'm wondering if it can be blended into the, I think you can blend those crumbs that you get right into your page. So here, the crumbs don't seem to want to blend into the paper like they did here, because it's not toothy, so there's nowhere for them to go really, I think. If I were to maybe drag them over here and use them, I could probably use them up that way. So that's not terrible. You definitely, it's definitely going to be lighter. These kind of pencils, you're not going to get your super rich, vibrant colors like you do with a colored pencil. I'm not sure that I don't think I really love them on this paper either, but on the pastel paper, let's see. Okay, so this could just be my imagination, but it feels like, here's my observation on the paper. It feels like let me just make sure I didn't not blend that out. It feels like on the regular colored pencil, the regular Spring Hill digital paper that I would use for colored pencil. The pastel, like I have lines after blending. The lines that I scribbled on there are still there, but the lines that I scribbled on this pastel paper are not still there. So that seems to be a better paper. It seems to be better to just use the paper that's designed for the product that you are using. So I'm just searching for somewhere here my little pastel mat sample that I had, because I want to play with that again for just a second. Here it is. Okay, so pastel mat. What about blending with cotton? I'm not sure about that, because will it stick into the probably for the pastel mat, a stump would be better. Okay, here's the stump. All right, so if I were to use this green, and let's see, I'm just curious if I take like, this is, so none of these have actual names on them. They're all just numbers, which is going to be hard for me to get used to because I associate colors and names. All right, so this is like the creamy color. And when I put it over the top, that definitely lightens up that color. That's kind of nice. And then if I use, nope, I'm going to use my stump. So I'm thinking that if I were to use this pastel mat and do an under layer, like use these as my first layer of the drawing, blend it all out. So now it's gone into the tooth of the paper. Then I can either come over the top with more of this or use colored pencil on top. For all the little details. Because again, I have seen people use color pencil over the pastels. So let's just see. Yes, you can do color pencil right over the top of the pastel. Oh man, the possibilities. I'm getting excited. So what I have to do then is use this pastel mat, do an underpainting with the Pit Pastels, and leave it for a day and see what happens. See if the pastels sink into the tooth of the pastel mat. I'm not sure if they will or not. Now it doesn't work as well to do, this is interesting. I don't know what it is about white paper, even toothy white paper. When you have a layer of color down, dark color on the white paper, and then you go to put a light color on top, that hardly even shows at all. But if I do it here, and I'm going to do it just exactly the same way I did the other one, blend that out. Look. Wow. One more reason, I can't help but just love the dark papers, because I don't think in negative space, so it's hard for me to color everything but the white when I want to do something white. I really like working dark to light. So yeah, okay, Pit Pastels are awesome. I'm excited to play with those. So I had a couple of people ask me if I was going to be doing any of my dog portraits on video. And I said I didn't think that I was going to do a full-on color along, because it's not really conducive to a color along. I mean, literally it's 10 to 12 hours of work of coloring the dog portraits. But I was thinking, if you guys were interested, I might film one and do it in I'll skip parts, you won't see the whole entire thing. I'll do parts in fast speed, and then I'll do some where you can hear me talking and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, let me know, and maybe I'll do that. And then my last stuff that came is probably stuff that maybe you guys are just completely not interested in, but I'm going to show you anyway, because I'm excited about them. So I've been needing to find products to use for packaging up the portraits and sending them to people. And so I found the cutest stuff. I got some really great, nice, way zoomed in. Some really nice rigid envelopes to be able to send the artwork in so that it won't get damaged, which is lovely. And then I got these darling thank you cards. These are so cute. Let's see if I can find. Oh my gosh, so cute. Love is a four-legged word. I love these. They're just perfect for what I wanted. I got these on Amazon too. There's one more in there. It's down deep, but you guys probably don't care. And then the cutest little stickers with a paw print and a thank you, which I just loved too. So yes, it's been a good haul. I like all of the supplies, and I'm super excited about those Pit Pastels. And and trying them on that pastel mat. So, alrighty, so that is my haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you found some things that you didn't know about that you must have, because you know we all love to enable each other. And that is it. So I will film the Linda Ravenscroft flip through next, and we'll get that up soon too. And thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Until I see you all again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Happy coloring. Bye.